mucho grandes, muy grandes.
Hello, mijo? Are you there? What are you doing? Are you being good? Javier? Are you there? Javier.
No, no quiero decirlo. No, estaba viendo una mujer que tenía unos melones así grandes. Es todo, pero...
What is up, my Ramilia fans of the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams? I hope everyone's having a great Sunday night, late night Ramilia. Just got back from watching that movie, Megan. It's a trip. It's a trip. It's a pretty good movie. I wasn't expecting a lot, but it was a pretty good movie. I appreciate it. But yeah, so the Rams went to overtime today. We were hoping to get the W and also maybe also help our guy Jared Goff in the midst of winning the game. It was a pretty good game. The defense played lights out again. It was bad conditions. Both teams struggled on offense at times, and we thought, I thought we had it. I thought we had the game. There was a ill-advised call, and it is what it is. Not blaming the refs, but we got a 4 and out, and we were going to get the ball back, and they gave it back to them, and then they tied it, and we went in overtime. And Baker Mayfield made one crucial mistake at the end. He underthrew Van Jefferson, who would have tiptoed into the end zone in overtime, and we would have got the W with the bomb touchdown. It would have been amazing to go into Seattle and win in overtime with a bomb walk-off touchdown to Jefferson. But he underthrew it. The guy undercut it. And then he also, I can't remember the guy's name, the defender, but he got the ball and he taunted the Rams sidelines, and there was no flag. Just like there was no flag when Metcalf and Ramsey were getting into it, just a little barking at each other for Ramsey hitting Geno Smith, and Geno Smith laid there like he got hurt real bad, but it wasn't really that bad. He was coming towards him. He just gave him a shoulder, and he actually stuck his fingers, Metcalf, into Jalen Ramsey's face mask, and there was no call there either. So, but there was a call on the roughing the passer call. They gave the Seahawks the ball back, which he was pushed into. They showed the replay, and I'm like, why is the announcers not even showing that the Seahawks guys, he's pushing back, and he kind of led our guy into the kicker, and it wasn't even that bad, but he sold it, and they got the call, and they tied it. We would have had the ball and the lead. But it is what it is. It's a long season. I feel bad because the turns out that the Lions beat the diva Aaron Rodgers, so we could have helped the Lions get to the Super Bowl, get to the playoffs. That would have been their Super Bowl, but that would have been a great story that the Rams help the Lions get to the Super Bowl, oh my God, I got the Super Bowl on my mind because I'm looking at this. The Lions get to the playoffs, and but props to them. It is what it is. We'll see what happens, but I do want to remind everybody who's the champ still. The Los Angeles Rams are the champs. It doesn't matter. We're out of the playoffs this year. We didn't get to run it back with a healthy squad, but we're still the champs, and it's just the way it's going to be until February when a new champ is crowned. But until then, we are still the reigning Super Bowl champions, and it is what it is. And but yeah, it was a tough loss. We're watching these games, and you're looking on the sidelines as Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Allen Robinson, Ashawn Robinson, Aaron Donald. And it's like, okay, well, these guys are playing the best they can with what we have. The emergence of Cam Akers being a top flight running back again is going to help our dividends next year. We'll see what happens with the Sean McVay news. Sean McVay, is he returning? Is he not returning? I've said before that he's coming back. Of course, he'd be stupid not to listen to all this money, coming his way from the TV revenue. They offered him a lot of money. We'll see what happens. But what's funny though is this is how this is where Sean McVay separates himself from everybody else. For the Kyle Shanahan's, the Bill Belichick's. He's Bill Belichick, in my opinion, is the best head coach in the NFL right now with all those rings. But Sean McVay's the guy's getting $100 million offered for TV revenue to go and be an announcer or whatever it is that's been reported. Nobody's asking for Kyle Shanahan. Nobody's asking for Pete Carroll. They want Sean McVay because Sean McVay is a personality. Besides knowing, besides knowing what he's doing when it comes to be a head coach, he's very personable. He knows how to, articulate what he's trying to say. But it's amazing that there's one coach out there that is getting offers, and who else can come off of a losing season with all these injuries? We just got to 5 wins, and there's offers of hundreds of millions of dollars on the table for him to leave. They're trying to sway him away. Nobody else except for the Los Angeles Rams head coach. It's amazing. It's amazing. And that's my guy, Niner Sickness says, Sean McVay is overrated. Yeah, but I guarantee you, Niner Sickness, you and me both would love to be overrated like that. Somebody's trying to give us $100 million to speak on TV. But it's just amazing. Leave our guy alone. He's going to come back for one more year. He's going to ride off into the sunset as Super Bowl champion next year. The NFC is going to be wide open. We're going to retool our offensive line, and our running game clearly is back with this makeshift line, and we'll be a lot better. Matthew Stafford and the guys will be back. Aaron Donald will come back, and I see us winning the Super Bowl. I could see us winning the Super Bowl next year because there's not a clear-cut winner. The Eagles, I think, are pretty good, but they're not. There's no juggernaut. So we'll see what happens. Injuries will play a lot into that, but we'll see what happens. Let's get into the chat. SG says, "Hi, Ramilia. What's up, SG? Thank you for coming in. It's late night. I was at the movies watching that movie, Megan, and it was a trip." He said, "How are you doing today?" "I'm doing good. I'm doing good." Guy in City says, "Orale." Yeah, we lost. It was a tough one. It's overtime. What can we do? The Seahawks are a playoff team, and we took them to overtime with all of our guys out. We had the game too, but we just couldn't do it. And she says, "Don't lose hope. You always have a chance next year to make the playoff." No, it's okay. This year we've known for a few weeks that we're out of the playoff picture. But even if we were to make it into the playoff picture, we don't even have our main guys in there. So, it is what it is. But thank you, SG. I appreciate you. SG says, "You are really a great Rams content creator." Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Andrew, the depressed Packers fan. Depression. Yeah, man, it sucks, man. I just like to kid back and forth with Aaron Rodgers because he's just such a diva, but he's such a great quarterback. But it's just amazing how things haven't gone his way in the postseason, but the regular season, he's a monster. But we'll see what happens. Let's see. Andrew, the depressed Packer fan says, "McVay over LaFleur." Yes, indeed. Let's see. Niner Sickness says, "Sean McVay can't beat Kyle Shanahan unless Safety dropped the ball." Sean McVay can beat Kyle Shanahan in the big game, and that's all that counts. And the Niners says, "The 49ers sweep the West, baby." Yep, of course the 49ers would win the West when the West is in its shambles, the worst division besides the NFC South. Or then what is it? The NFC South. All of our quarterbacks are out. The Niners don't really they have a game manager at quarterback. They just hand the ball off and let the defense carry the team. CMC is running his ass off, but the regular season is a lot different than the postseason. We'll see what happens. But of course, the Niners would finally get back-to-back seasons in Kyle Shanahan's tenure and win the division when the NFC West is at its weakest point in years. Of course. But when the NFC West, and I've said this before, is at its top, when all the teams are good, guess who's the NFC West champions? The Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams. Remember this, the Niners last year, despite getting to the championship game, finished in third place. That's why I would call them third placers. So we just need to understand that. We just need to understand that. Niners all damn day. Remember that time you said there was no juggernauts this year? There is no juggernauts, except for on the Kansas City side. They're really, really good, but there really isn't no juggernauts. If we had our collection of guys, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Aaron Donald, Ashawn Robinson, our offensive line that we have now, even though we still have injuries, it's a lot better than it was. I wouldn't fear anybody. I mean, there's not really a juggernaut, but it is what it is. Niners all down base says the 5-12 Rams. Yep, 5-12 Rams, but also coming off of a Super Bowl championship. So what would you pick up? Losing the NFC championship and winning the division this year when it's broken down, or being Super Bowl champions and losing this year because it's injuries? We know what would happen. As she says, you missed my comment. Let's see, where's your comment? Okay. As she says, the Rams played a phenomenal football game against the Seattle Seahawks, but it came down to a game-winning field goal by kicker Jason Myers. Yeah, it came, and you know what? We had our chance. But Baker Mayfield made a huge mistake underthrowing the ball, and Van Jefferson had to stop in his tracks and turn back around, and they intercepted it. But also, he taunted the Rams sidelines, and there was no call. Amazing, no call. That would have put them a little further back. But we had our chance right there. You just got to connect on that. Let's see. Andrew, the press pack fan says, I want to get Brian Flores as my DC, but I don't know. Yeah, you never know how it's going to work out. You got to put them out there. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Niners all damage says you would get swept with all those guys active. Well, what's funny is Niner fans have this thing about the regular season. That's why I call them the regular season empire. Getting swept is one thing, but you guys have not won a championship in 28 years. That's the bar that you're at. Yes, it's great to beat a team in your division and talk about sweeps, but why? Well, it's amazing that you can even talk about sweeps when we won the Super Bowl last year. That's fantastic. Congratulations. That's hilarious though, but because it doesn't make any sense though. Yes, you swept us. You swept us last year, and then we beat you in the championship game. I really think that if Trey Lance was quarterback, we would have swept you guys even with a beat up squad. Luckily for you, Jimmy Garoppolo was playing. Luckily for Kyle Shanahan, the guy who I call incompetent Kyle, Jimmy Garoppolo didn't get traded, and he saved his ass. And then Brock Purdy's playing really great, being a great game manager and saving Kyle's butt again. But yes, it only took 6 years for Kyle Shanahan to finally get over 500. He's 6 games over 500 in his 6th year. Congratulations. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens the way it goes. Let's see. Jason Alvarez says, "What's up, Rudy? Couldn't seal the deal on this on Seattle not throwing salt on the wound, but McVay is out. Can't blame him. Sports are can't blame him. Sports are he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. Well, he's not going to. There's no rebuild. They're throwing a lot of money at McVay, so I don't blame him for keeping the door open, because if somebody's throwing you $100 million contract to just talk about sports on TV, I mean." But I believe he's coming back. But why rebuild? Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Cam Akers, Kyrene Williams, Jalen Ramsey, Wagner, Ernest Jones, Ashawn Robinson. We may re-sign him, may not. Greg Gaines, these young secondary that we have, Kobe Durant, Quentin Lake almost got his first interception this year. That's not a rebuild. That's a Super Bowl caliber squad. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. But that's not a rebuild. That's more than that's way different than like a Jets team or something like that. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Danny Berry Sports says 1995. Yes, indeed. Big Stepper Nolan says the tennis champs talking loud again. Yeah, you know what? On this note with the attendance, the Rams for the second year, we get a lot of people getting on us about the one game where the Raiders, or the run games where the single games where the 49ers or the Raider fans that already live in Southern California show up to the Rams games. But for the second year in a row, the Rams attendance figures are higher than the 49ers. And so, I mean, it is what it is. The faithful, yes, they go travel. They're used to uh, going to other cities and losing the big games. They do come out when they win. They do come out when they win. But when they lose, I've showed you before, they don't come out. And that's a lot of teams, but it is what it is. Let's see. Jason Alvarez says, I would love McVay to leave. I hate the Rams, but I respect him as coach. I mean, McVay, I mean, as much as people would like to hate on McVay, the youngest coach in NFL history to win a Super Bowl, all he has done with the Rams is change the culture. He's won multiple NFC West championships, back-to-back NFC West championships. And he's just a great coach, But yes, indeed. Jason Alvarez says, but you guys could end up with Sean Payton. Rumors are, if I don't think McVay's leaving, I already said that, but if McVay leaves, Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, Raheem Morris are the rumored guys. Somebody else. This is I mean, I can see Sean Payton salivating at the chance to be in Los Angeles, number one, the mecca of West Coast sports, at SoFi Stadium with this team. Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, in my opinion, the best receiver in the NFL. Aaron Donald on defense. This franchise, this front office, I can see Sean Payton salivating at the chance to do it. But we will see what happens. I can really see that. Dan Bray says, championship game. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Dan Barry says, now LA. Niners City says that Kyle Shanahan rebuild the 49ers from the floor up. So the first 2 years don't count. Every year counts. Every year counts. Just like you guys are letting us have it this year. If that was true, then you guys wouldn't try to lay in on us. Even we won the Super Bowl, you guys would give us a pass because we won the Super Bowl last year. You guys were like, yeah, you guys weren't that good, but we understand because everybody, including the starting quarterback and starting wide receiver, and everybody were out multiple games. But yes, every year counts. It does. Joe, what's up, brother? He says, Cuba Rudy, what's up, my brother? Appreciate you. Thank you for coming in. Niner Sickness says the Lambs are definitely the little brother in the West. No, the Niners are the little brother. The Niners, let me give you an idea of the pecking order. So in the last 28 years, I'm glad my guy Niner Sickness says this. The Rams have won the only 2 Super Bowls between the two franchises in the last 28 years, but also since the field free agency period that started in 1993, when there was a hard cap and free agency was in full bloom. The Rams are the only franchise in NFC West to win 2 Super Bowls in the franchise era. The Niners won one in 94 the year after, but their team was already there. They didn't really do anything really except just add a couple guys. So the Rams are the only team to do that. Multiple Super Bowls in the free agency era. Also, the Rams franchise is worth more than the Niners franchise. The Rams stadium is way better than the 49ers stadium. It's not even close. The Rams owner just bought Woodland Hills. The whole block, the Woodland Hills Mall, all the surrounding area to build the Rams headquarters and training facility. The Rams franchise, like I said, is worth more than the 49ers. The Niners are in small market Santa Clara. So the Niners are truly, even with the 5 Super Bowls, they are worth less than the Rams are. Matter of fact, let's get into that. I like to just show, sometimes people are a little hard headed, and we gotta show the pecking order. And I don't mind, we're here late. There's nothing else to do. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. And what's funny though too is the Rams Woodland Hills training facility is going to be worth more than the whole Niner Stadium. Oh boy, I mean, it cost them more to build all the stuff they're going to do, but to buy all that stuff, that's why I say that the Niners are truly the Rams' little brother, not just in success. So here we go. Rank the most valuable NFL teams in 2022. Right? Remember what I just told you. Cowboys, Washington Commanders, Houston, Denver Broncos are all here. New England Patriots, 6 rings, 6.4 billion. Rams, 6.2 billion, just underneath them. Our little brothers in Santa Clara, just below even the New York Jets and our other little brothers in Las Vegas, the Raiders, 5.1, and then so forth and so on. So there you go. And here's the list right here, just so you can see. The Rams are third in the NFL period. And is this big enough for you guys to see? Hold on. I probably should have changed it. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see. Just to make a better point. There we go. So yes, Dallas Cowboys are number one. The New England Patriots, the Rams are right on the cusp. When they finish that Woodland Hills headquarters, they'll probably get up here. The Giants, Bears, and the Niners are eighth. Our little brothers, how you doing? So there we go. There, you guys always walk into it. Like I said, the Niners never disappoint me, and their fan. The fans. And my guy Niners Stick said but we like to go back and forth, but I always get you, man. I always seem to get you because we can talk about the latest championships that both teams won, the head-to-head matchups. You guys have the regular season banner, and we have the NFC Championship banner and the Super Bowl banner. Thanks to you guys. My team is worth more. My team is in a better city, Los Angeles, than Santa Clara. On and on. My owner is better than your owner. Eddie DeBarlo Jr. is not with the Niners no more. So all the old glory, you have to harken back. We just have to go back a few months. So it's just, and also the ring too. I see here with the ring, we have a better ring than any of the 5 Niner rings. So it's funny. I just like to go back and forth, but it is funny. Danny Berry says, Niners choke every year. Yes, indeed. Danny Berry says, even Queefs own them. Yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing who this season's going to unfold. I'm not going to be so stressed out because my team's going to be out of it. Unfortunately, we'll see what happens. Danny Berry says, Niners. I'm messy with you, Niner fans. Yeah, we're just going back and forth. Niners all damn day says Rudy, the only person who counts world championships and acts like they're Super Bowls. Well, listen, I love this topic because if you were an old guy and you were around when Jackie Robinson or Kenny Washington or Norm Van Brocklin, the greats, Y.E. Tittle for the 49ers, Bart Starr, before they called it Super Bowls, the NFL had NFL championships. Now the Niners were established, and it's funny that it's sad that I have to school the Niner fans on their own team. The Niners were established in 1946, but did they win diddly? No, they didn't win anything until 1981. But the Rams were two-time NFL champions. Now, if it was so easy or didn't mean anything, then why couldn't they do it? So that's what's hilarious. So yes, at that time, that was the championship, and the Rams not only have multiple Super Bowls, but they're multiple NFL champions. Whether it was early in the year, whatever it was, the Rams were able to win, and the Niners weren't. Just like in modern times, the Rams are able to win multiple Super Bowls in the free agency period. The Niners can't. So back to the future. So there we go. You could go in a time machine, and the Rams will probably either be fighting for a Super Bowl or a championship, and they'll have won one. But yeah, so it's amazing that point though. If I guarantee you, if the Niners would have won 5 NFL championships, they wouldn't be like, "Oh, that doesn't mean anything." No, it means something because that was the championship back then. Um, when Norm Van Brocklin and Crazy Legs Hirsch, Y.E. Tito were all playing, Bob Starr, they didn't have Super Bowl. They had the NFL championship. That was the end game. So, that's just the way it is. So, but yes, you can look back at history. Also, that's like saying, the Rams broke the NFL color barrier with Kenny Washington and Woody Strode. Does that not mean anything? That was early. That was a year before Jackie Robinson broke it with the Dodgers. It's just amazing. Joe says Winers are the closets of the world. But yeah, we like to go back and forth. Anderson says, who cares who is worth more or less? The reason why you should care is because you're calling us the little brother, and I'm explaining to you why that doesn't make sense. Regular season wins are great. We'll give you that feather. Now we have the feather for the team worth. We're in a better city, a much more desired city financially when it comes to corporate sponsors and things like that. Our headquarters and our training facilities, state of the art, just like our stadium. Those are things the Niners don't have. The Niners pockets aren't as deep as the Rams pocket, the Rams owners' pockets. So that's why I refer to them as our little brother, because we beat them in the championship game. We've won the two multiple Super Bowls in the free agency era between the two franchises, and we're top notch. The Niners are lower, and I showed you. Even the Jets are worth more than the Niners. I mean, it is what it is. You're not going to hear it anywhere else except for here. I just explained it away. I just explained. Joe says, that's interesting. I really thought the Raiders are the most expensive team. No, one of the reasons why the NFL wanted the Rams in Los Angeles, besides Stan Kroenke being the owner, it's because the Rams are more, this is my opinion, a more family-oriented franchise that they can market. And it's worked out. Let's see. Joe says, Rudy, how the heck is the Niners in his pockets? Is in your moderators? Oh, he's a good buddy of mine. He comes in here, we go back and forth. That's why he's a good brother of mine. That's why. Big Stepper Nola says, don't y'all have some Super Bowl VHS tapes to put on Reminisce? I love it. But yeah, so that's why I say, I mean, what can we say? You guys have the 5 Super Bowls, but that was then. This is now. We have multiple Super Bowls in the last since the free agency era, and that is what it is. Louis H says, when you have to bring up pre-Super Bowl era, well, it's not that I have to; it's that it has to be recognized. I mean, geez. Why bring up the past at all? Then why should we bring up 5 Super Bowls from the 80s and 90s? Then what do they mean? What do they have to do with now? Why? Well, because that's part of your history, right? Well, why should we bring up NFL championships that were won? Well, because that's part of a franchise history. Just like the Rams were the first team to have an emblem on their helmet, the first team to employ scouts, the first team to have their home games, playoff games televised, the first game to have colors, home games televised, on and on and on. The first team to break the color barrier with Woody Strode and Kenny Washington. What other stuff do you want to erase from history? Amazing. Amazing. So that means that the championships of the 1927 Yankees don't mean as much as the ones they won later on in the 70s, or the NFL championships that the Green Bay Packers won before pre-Super Bowl don't mean anything. No, they do. I understand it's different because the two teams merged, but back then there was no merging because it was out of its infancy. But they still won. Why did not the Niners win? They were established in 1946. They couldn't win. So don't sidestep that fact. My Niners Cygnus is making my point. At the end of the day, we all play for championships. Super Bowl is not how good my stadium looks. Well, that's exactly right, and that's my point. At the end of the day, the 1945 Rams were playing for a championship. They won. The 1951 Rams were playing for a championship. They won. The 1946 Niners were playing for championships, and they couldn't win all the way up until 1981. So there you go. Yes, and then in the championship era, the Rams won multiple championships, two Super Bowls in the Super Bowl era, rather. And then, but people just like to pick and choose what they want to what they want. But yeah, Niners. This is a show an honest question. If my pockets are bigger than yours, Rudy, does that mean that I'm a better person than you? No, it's not that. It has to do with being a little brother. Okay, like for instance, like let's say I'm the big brother. There's little brother. The big brother maybe will probably have deeper pockets. When I say deeper pockets, that's why the Rams can spend so much on the Woodland Hills project for the training facility and headquarters. That's why they can spend so much on SoFly Stadium. The Niners owners, the Yorks, are cheap. That's why they're part of the little brother mentality. They are truly the little brother. They are truly the little brother. Eddie DeBarlo Jr. Is not there anymore. That's why I say that. But it is what it is. We can go back and forth, but that is what it is. So let's get into. We were praying for DeMar, right? We were praying for DeMar, and God bless him. He's conscious now. He's talking, and the Rams. They had cleats on with his number on it, and they had shirts on. Love for DeMar all the way around the league, not just the Rams. So God bless him. And in this game against the Seahawks, our guy Bobby Wagner, we were hoping to get him a win, man, in the worst possible way. It didn't work out, but he's a class act, and here he is giving autographs to the Ramilia, in the house that Mark Bulger built in Seattle. I love Bobby Wagner. He's been everything advertised. Unfortunately, he didn't make the Pro Bowl. He was before this game, he was 10 tackles away from being the all-time Rams season leader in tackles. He's a class act, one of the great players of all time. One of the great. I'm so glad. He'll be back next year. The Rams. They did their best. We just couldn't pull it out. It took overtime to beat us, but props to Jalen Ramsey. He was doing everything in his power to try and get this win. He made some key plays in this game.
Undercut it. He undercuts this little mag route, basically like a sting route. You show hard play action up front, low pad level by the offensive lineman. Try and sell run, give them the illusion of run. And Jalen Ramsey undercuts it. Makes a savvy veteran play. You see the opening there. They got the opening.
And then here he is again.
Off the play fake. Smith looking. Oh, no! And that's the second pick of the day for Jalen Ramsey.
Okay, and then here he is again, too, with a big tackle, saving a touchdown.
Scoot and watch Ramsey turn on the Jets with that long stride, cutting them off. Well, now you got to imagine they got 2 downs, right? I mean, if they went for it earlier, might do it again.
The Rams defense played good. All year they've been playing really great. Because with us struggling on offense and guys out of the lineup, and they had to save us, and they were doing it again this year, this game rather. And Unfortunately we couldn't get that win for Bobby Wagner. I know he really wanted it. We wanted it too, but props to Jen and Ramsey. They did the best they could. It was overtime. It sucks, but it is what it is. And then props on Tutu Atwell getting his first career rushing touchdown.
Little end around. It's Atwell to the edge. Atwell to the end zone for a Rams touchdown.
This is a guy, the reemergence of Cam Akers, Tutu Atwell, Ben Skoranek. This is why I say that it's a silver lining in a horrible injury plagued year, because these guys were able to get playing time and reps that they wouldn't have got. And so not that it's a good thing that it had to go this way, but we're making the best of it. It is what it is, but these guys, the Colby Durants in the secondary, Quentin Lake almost got his first pick this year. He dropped it at the end. Another guy, another young guy. Hopefully Lance McClutchin will get some reps next year, but this year we were able to uncover some hidden gems, and some guys were able to fast track their development. And Tutu Atwell, the emergence of Tutu Atwell and Ben Skoranek with Baker Mayfield has been a really a great surprise and a welcome surprise. Baker Mayfield's going to be a story this offseason, because I would love to have him back as a backup for Stafford. He knows how to command an offense, and savvy veteran. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of big. Maybe it's a blessing that we lost this game and he didn't look. He missed that throw at the end. Maybe it's a blessing that maybe we can bring him back next year, and maybe he won't get big offers and he can be our backup for Stafford. I would love to have him be with us again next year and be our backup. We'll see what happens with that. Let's see. There's my guy, Corey Davis. What's up, my brother, Corey Davis? How you doing, man? Another cool dude, guy, Corey Davis. Niner fans, if you're here in the chat, check out Corey Davis's YouTube content. Not big Niner fan, and props to my guy, Corey Davis. Let's see. Niner Citizens, who outbid for CMC? Yeah, you guys got CMC. I love CMC. I didn't want him though. Remember, I told you I wanted at that time OBJ. We thought it was going to be healthy, and I wanted Robert Woods. But the only reason why the Niners outbid for CMC is because we didn't have a was it a second rounder? Because we gave that for Sony Michel last year when we had Cam Akers hurt. That's the only reason why we got outbid. And so thank you, Lucky Stars, because sure enough, Debo gets hurt, Elijah Mitchell got hurt. Somebody's always hurt over there, but the running game, to Kyle Shanahan's credit, but he's a big time player. But I didn't really want him. I wanted that other edge rusher on the other side of Leonard Floyd. But CMC is a beast. Big Stepper Nolan says, yeah, both games were winnable. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Jason Alvarez says McVay's playbook is watered down, generic version of Kyle's. Well, actually, Kyle Shanahan's playbook is thanks to Mike McDaniels. From what all the players were saying, Kyle Shanahan would just serve it. Mike McDaniels would be the cook with the chef hat on, and then he'd hand it to Kyle Shanahan. He'd put it on the clipboard and then be like, "Yeah, we're gonna run." So, but Kyle Shanahan is an offensive mind too. But Sean McVay is already he's a Super Bowl champion. So McVay excels at beating linebackers with our receivers, and Kyle Shanahan excels in the running game and the little short routes. But they're both good on each route in each other's schemes, and but the McVay is the one that won the ring between the two. So McVay is watered down. It's hilarious. Big Stepper Nolan says Lake had that pick too. Yeah, he did have it, man. He did have it. Jason Alvarez says CMC is modern day Folk. They keep him in touch. No, he's not Marshall Faulk. He's good, but he's not Marshall Faulk. Guarantee he's not Marshall Faulk. No way. Let's see. Let's see. Big Stepper Nolan said, yeah, these young boys needed these reps. Yes, indeed. Jason Howard says, we healthy now, man. You better be healthy, man, because I don't want no excuses. If the Niners don't win the Super Bowl this year, they're never going to win it because we're going to be back next year. But they better win it this year. I mean, what does it take to be handed, to you? Big Stepper Nolan says, still going to fold. Yep, what's the word I'm looking for? That's their track record is they fold in the playoffs. That's why we call them the regular season empire. We'll see what happens. There's no getting away for that, There's no getting away from that. Niners All Down says McVay is Shanahan's big brother who had won a Super Bowl. Tony Corn says, from 1 to 10, how is it likely of Sean McVay of Sean leaving for a big payday? Well, I think he's not leaving. So I would say it's how likely is he leaving for a big payday? Well, he's getting paid pretty good from the Rams. What is it, $16 million a year? Something like that. I'm sure they can renegotiate. That's why he's not saying nothing to get more money from the Rams, because he does not want to leave like this. And with this losing season, and then he wants to at least come back for Donald's final year, contract year. We'll see what happens. But I would say if you're asking from 1 to 10, I would say it's like an 8 that McVay. I would say that you're saying how likely is Sean McVay to leave for a big payday. I would say it's like a 3 or 4. I say it's like a 3 or 4. And let's see. Let's get into another clip. This is Cam Akers showing what he can do. The reemergence of Cam Akers. He's going to pay big dividends next year. I love Cam Akers. I'm glad that they worked it out. We'll see what happens with this.
Atwell in motion. Akers the carry. Room to the edge, and Akers down the sideline. Cam Akers lowers the shoulder into Quandre Diggs, and a first down for the Rams.
I'm so glad that he's got his head back on his shoulders. Him and McVay are on the same page, and it's just great to see him be the guy that we thought he was. It looks like he's explosive. He got his explosive burst back, and he looks really good. He's making a lot better decisions. Big Stepper Nolan says 13 million, third highest paid head coach. Exactly right. And I'm sure that I was trying before I came. That's why I was a little tardy. I was trying to download the clip of they were asking him about, are you going to be coach next year? There's reports, blah, blah, blah. He's, I'm not talking about that right now. I'm here now. There'll be time for that. So I don't blame him. This talks. If you have big offers, you would be a fool not to listen to it. So if you have an offer over here, you're like, Kroenke. I don't blame him. He's a Super Bowl champion. Like I said, do you have other teams knocking down Pete Carroll's door to be an analyst and paying him that much jack? No. Do you have anybody asking Kyle Shanahan, the 6 games over 500 in 6 years, head coach of the Niners? Hey, Kyle, I know you just barely started winning this year, but do you want to come over here for PBS and make $200 a year? No, nobody's offering him nothing because he's not McVay. That shows you McVay's worth. McVay, yes, if Kyle Shanahan was to get fired by the Niners, he would get a head coaching job. Yes, the NFL is a retread of head coaches. The same guys get a job year after year. Tell me I'm wrong. When a guy that can be in the league 6 years for the same city of San Francisco and have losing after losing season, barely in his 6th year get 6 games over 500, and if he was to get fired, they would hire him right away. It's because of his last name. He is a good head coach, though. He is a good offensive mind, but he's not in McVay's class. He's not, and that gives you an idea of why the TV networks are offering him that much money. If Kyle Shanahan coached the Rams, he would do really well because we have great players. He does well with the Niners when they're all healthy, but he can't win the big one, and some of it is his fault. Reminds me of of Roberts, the Dodgers manager with the Dodgers. The Dodgers have had the highest payroll in the league, and they have the one championship, but at least they won a championship. The Niners can't win one anymore. We'll see what happens. And Niners sickness. This is. I'm glad you brought this up because this is a misnomer. He says Sean McVay learned from the Shannon tree, not the other way around. No, he didn't. Sean McVay took everything from wherever he's worked. Yes, he worked with Shanahan, but he also worked with Gruden. He actually got more from Gruden. If you listen to Sean McVay talk, he talks similar to Gruden. And also, if you forget Niner sickness, Sean McVay, Pop, Grandpop was one of the architects of the Niners' 5 Super Bowls. So he picked up more from his granddad than he ever did Shanahan. So that's a misnomer. Yes, did him and Kyle Shanahan were buddies, but they worked together. But also did he work with Gruden, and also his dad was the Papa McVay with the Niners. So that's a misnomer. He didn't get any. They pick and choose, but it's not like he learned from Sean. He didn't know anything, and then he learned from Sean McVay. That's not even that's false. That's false. That narrative, that's usually coming from Niner people, Niner fans, or people talking about Kyle Shanahan. Oh, he learned from Shanahan. No, he didn't. You take wherever you are, you learn things from experience, but it's not like Sean McVay didn't know anything and then Kyle Shanahan taught him. No, he didn't. That's a misnomer. He took everything for wherever he was at. You get more experience. He took a lot from Gruden as well. If you hear Sean McVay talk, he talks similar to John Gruden. But yeah, so that is what it is. Tony Corn says, LMFAO, Sean learned from the Shanahan tree. Listen, if I work with a guy and he's really good at the running game, yes, I'll learn some things from him, but I have my stuff that I know, and then I'll put my own tweak on it. But Sean McVay has been around football as much or more than Kyle Shanahan. Sean McVay was in those championship clubhouses of the Niners when Grandpa John McVay he was. That's why he's such a team player and knows how to talk to big stars, because as a kid he hung around those championship Niner clubhouses and talked to the Joe Montanas, the Jerry Rices as a kid, so Sean McVay comes from a heritage of wealth of football knowledge. To put that on Shanahan, that he taught McVay what he knows, is hilarious. And the fact that Sean McVay is the Super Bowl champion coach and Kyle Shanahan just barely in his 6th year got back-to-back winning seasons in a year where the whole NFC West was broken down, is blasphemy. Honestly, that's hilarious. Alex G says 49ers aren't making it far since they not playing against the Packers, who always let them win. That's exactly right. They always have the Packers number. But also too, if you remember the Raider game, teams can score on okay. I'm going to say it this way. The Niners have a great defense. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know for sure. But teams with a great quarterback and offensive weapons can score on the Niners. Now, if they hinder the Niners' run attack and don't let CMC run with open fields, if they hinder it, give them 3rd and longs, Brock Purdy will crap the bed and will throw picks. He will turn into Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0 in the playoffs. That's what I'm looking for, and that's what you're probably going to see. I'm calling it now. So we will see. If they don't win this year, I guarantee you they'll have excuses. And we will see what happens. If they do win this year, I will give them props that they won, but I don't think I'll have to do that. Big Stepper Nolan says Shanahan tree. Yeah, Mike Shanahan, not Kyle. Yeah. You know what? If Kyle Shanahan's last name wasn't Shanahan, if he wasn't the son of of Mike Shanahan, would he have lasted with the Niners going into his 6th year under 500? I mean, I know they've had injuries after injured year and this and that, but that's horrible. I mean, you pay a guy to win, and in his 6th year, he's just 6 games over 500. That's crazy. That's crazy. SG says it's very late. Yeah, I came in later today. I just wanted to talk about this stuff, but let's look into the playoff bracket real quick. And thank you guys for coming in here. We're just having some good times. Hold on. Let's see. So wild card weekend, super wild card weekend. Let's start it here. Super wild card weekend schedule. Super wild card weekend will kick off in Santa Clara, California. Following the Detroit Lions defeat of the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night, the NFL announced the schedule of opening round of the playoffs. And here it is. Saturday, January 14th. Seattle Supersonics, Seattle Seahawks at the Santa Clara 49ers, aka San Francisco. I would love to see Seattle pull the upset here. Geno Smith, I'm going to say, got the win today. You know, we had him on the ropes. We couldn't do it, but I expect the Niners to win this game. I would love to see Seattle. So that's we'll see what happens though. This is the postseason, you know. We'll see if they don't freeze up again. AFC, Los Angeles Chargers, our other little brothers, at Jacksonville Jaguars. This is going to be a tough game here because the Chargers have a lot of pressure on them to beat the Jaguars, and the Jaguars might be playing with, we're lucky, we're just glad to be here. Maybe they'll play loose. And then Sunday, January 15th, the Dolphins at Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills the Dolphins are pretenders. There's another team that the Niners beat right there. I never really thought they were that great, but they were playing good and their record was good. But I think the Buffalo Bills are going to take care of them pretty easy. The NFC, the Giants and the Minnesota Vikings, I look for Minnesota to beat them. And then the AFC, Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals, it's going to be the Bengals most likely. And then Monday, January 16th, the Cowboys versus Tom Brady and the losing record division champion Buccaneers. And we'll see if Tom Brady can pull magic out of his hat. Again, this guy here, he's like Michael Myers, man. The guy just keeps coming back. But yeah, their record. Hold on, let me get into this. Amazing. Hold on. Amazing. Let me look at where I'm at. Okay, yeah, you can see it good. So the NFC South, 8-9. Look at this division. Wow, 8-9 division champions. Wow, and then look at this division, 13-4. But yeah, look at this. Okay, but yeah, so you know, we'll call this bizarro. But yeah, the two of the weakest divisions here. Pretty much this team is like this team, except they have Tom Brady, and these guys have Brock Purdy. These guys have a better defense, but these guys have Tom Brady. We'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. I'm going to be able to watch the playoffs at least, not stressed out. I would rather be stressed out and have my team in there, but it is what it is. You know, we won this chip last year, so you know, it's okay. You know, it is what it is. You know, if we didn't win the chip, then that would be it'd be a lot different. You know, so but yeah, we're gonna still come here. We're gonna still come here and talk about football and talk about the playoffs and any news on Sean McVay, all that stuff. Let's see. Let's see. SG says Bill Walsh popularized the West Coast offense. Yes, indeed. Bill Walsh was great. Steph Curry says 5 rings are better than 2. 5 rings are better than 2, just like 17 are better than, how many do the Warriors have? But also 2 rings, the last 2 rings are better than 5 rings from like 30 years ago. 2 years in the free agency era is better than 0 rings also in the free agency era. Big Seppernola says, talking about rings plus 20 plus years in a Rams chat is more hilarious. Well, that's funny because we have to understand something. A lot has happened since the Niners won a ring. Should I lay it out for you? Let me put this picture up while I lay it out. You guys could just hear my commentary. This is fun for me too, by the way. So let me lay it out for you. So, 1993, the NFL. Matter of fact, let me see if I can while I talk. The NFL came up with a hard cap, and so it was a different NFL free agency cap. So at that time, teams had to adjust. And since that was implemented, the Niners, who basically had their team, won the Super Bowl in the 1994 season. So that's one Super Bowl they did win, but they already had their team. But since then, in the NFC West, only one team has won 2: the 1999 Rams and the 2021 Rams. The Niners have not won back-to-back Super Bowls. Back-to-back Supers. The Niners have not won multiple Super Bowls since the free agency eras began. Full bore. And that's just facts. That's not me making it up. The 5 rings are wonderful, but that was before the free agency era went full bore. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to find information to give you on that as well. Let's see. Okay, so as I'm looking for that, all right, so I'm not seeing what I'm trying to find. So let's just go it this way. So 1993, there was a hard cap for NFL teams. Teams had to adjust the way they were signing free agents. Teams like the 49ers struggled because they had veteran players with big contracts. Also, at that time, during that time in the late 90s, Eddie DeBarlo Jr. Got caught up in some alleged stuff personally. And by the way, the team lost draft picks for backloading player contracts. They were fined. Eddie DeBarlo, for conduct allegedly unbecoming an NFL owner, was fined $1 million and suspended by the league for 1 year. Right. Eventually, allegedly, he was either forced or decided to give his team to his sister, Denise York, and that's who now owns the Yorks own the 49ers. So the Niners are not the same team as they used to be, and that's why all that comes to fruition. So all that all that makes sense when you talk about little brothers and big brothers. The Niners aren't the team they used to be, and that is what it is. I was trying to find what I was looking for, but I'll bring that up in another one. Big Stepper Nolan says, salute to Walsh and John McVay. Yes, indeed. Big Stepper Nolan says, AFC South was a struggle. Yeah, it was crazy. I can't believe that the Bucs won the division with that record. Matty Ice, Dodgers own the Giants too. So yeah, we can give you a football, I guess. Exactly right. Big Stepper says, I hope y'all aren't Giant fans. Alameo. Joe says, our ring is better than all the rings right now. Yes, indeed. And Big Stepper says, far better. Yes, indeed. Tony Corn says, Niners going to lose to Seattle, bro. I would love it. I would love that. That'd be perfect. Big Stepper says, boy, if they fold against Gino and Pete, oh, I would love that, man. Tony Corn says, we the champs, baby. We're still the champs. Exactly right. Joe says, bottom line, the Niners are sea chickens, are not making the playoffs. Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't find. So 1993, there was a hard salary cap. Teams had to adjust. And the Niners had their team already in 1994. They won the Super Bowl. And then after that, you haven't heard from them until 2012, 14. But they still haven't won another Super Bowl since then. So the Rams are the only team to win multiple Super Bowls in the free agent full bore era. But yes, indeed. And only 6 years back in Los Angeles, they did it. But yeah, so it is what it is. You know, we could just say that we're still the champs. We had a rough year this year, and it is what it is. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in late night. We'll see if we can come in tomorrow night. I'll let you guys know, but I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I appreciate you two Niner fans for coming in here. We like to go, we like to go back and forth, but you know, that's why I have this, that's why I have this little graphic that I like to show, because it just suits everything. It just suits the conversation. When Niner fans realize, and if you notice, see that trophy case? That's a Santa Clara trophy case. See the picture in there? That's Jimmy Garoppolo with his hand on his forehead and his helmet in his hand after the NFC Championship game. See the lady to the left, top right? That's the wait till next year sign. See the bottom? It says things are different. When Niner fans realize things are different in Santa Clara. That is true, but it's also funny. And then also when I do this, the Niners have to understand the pecking order now. We're the champs until we're not. We're still the champions. If the Niners are able to finally beat us, that'll be great. Finally win the Super Bowl, that'll be great, and we'll give them props. But I don't think it's going to happen. This is why we tell them that and go back and forth. We'll see what happens. But yeah. Joe says, there's nothing to talk about, LOL. Big Stepper Nolan says, they're not saying anything worth reading. Yes, indeed. Tony Corsa, LMFAO. You guys are funny. But yeah, so thank you guys for coming in. We'll keep an eye on the McVay stuff. Like I said, I don't think he's going to leave. One thing I do want to show you guys before I leave, I didn't get to do it on my last stream, is the Rams had a Make-A-Wish the Rams sponsored with the Rams incorporated with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and there was a guy that benefited from this, and he was very excited. And I have it here. Where are you at, my brother? Kyle Frazier for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Here's a quick video for you guys real quick.
Yo, what's up with you, man? What's going on? Feeling, man. How you feeling? Feeling good.
He got to sign a one-day contract with the team.
Hey, it's Kyle checking in with Make-A-Wish. I'm here, SoFi Stadium. Check it out. I got fam in the building. Go Rams.
Yes, indeed. That's so cool. The Rams have been so great for the community. The inner city team, the inner city kids. It's just been great since they've been back. The Los Angeles Rams and the Make-A-Wish Foundation, just amazing. Niners all down bases, y'all. Some one-hit wonders like Fetty Wap. Well, one-hit wonders are the Niners from 1994 season. One-hit wonders and nothing. That was the last time they won the Super Bowl. So one last hit and nothing. Big Stepper Nolan says, horns up still. Yes, indeed. Joe says, all fun here. Yes, indeed. Big Stepper Nolan says, yeah, I seen Kyle link up with AD and the GOAT. Joe says, I heard Weiner's going to have a halftime show singer to sing Let It Go, Let It Go. SG says, good morning from Amelia. Yes, indeed. But yeah, so, we're still the champs. Last year just is still on our minds because even the announcers say, yeah, the Super Bowl champions have had it rough this year, but they are Super Bowl champs, defending Super Bowl champs. And, but yes, indeed. So we'll see what happens. But until then, this is my reaction when I see all the content creators and Niner fans think this is the year. But all right, guys, I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you for popping in. I know it's late. I appreciate you, one of you guys. Thank you so much, my guys in here. Joe and Big Stepper Nolan, appreciate you, brother Tony Korn, all you guys, all the Niner guys. Niner Sickness came in here. He's a moderator, but he's a cool dude. I appreciate him. Jason Alvarez, props to you too, brother. Corey Davis, Luis, thank you guys all for coming in here. If I missed anybody, I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for the support. And looking forward to the playoffs. Unfortunately, the champs are out, but we're not down. We're going to retool and see what happens. But we'll let you know if any news with Sean McVay comes down the pike. I wouldn't be surprised if some news comes down the pike during the Super Bowl week. We'll see what happens. As we always say, may the Ramilia be with you. And Ramulators, mount up. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
We were born to ride.